Welcome back to In Time TV. You're watching Conversations in Medical Sciences Research. I'm Dr. Jonas Moses. We are on the edge of this conversation with Kevin A. Johnson. We've been talking for the last 20 minutes or so on innovation modeling, strategies, and implementation. And we want a little bit about that. We were just making the point, or I was just going back to a point you made earlier about the scientist or physician or technologist who labors in relative obscurity throughout his or her career. Lots of good ideas, but never gets them on paper. Versus the Bill Gates, the Steve Jobs, who not only bring their own innovation to the table, ideas to the table, but as you said, they surround themselves with lots of innovative people in the process. So how would you propose to help that person who seeks to be not necessarily a Bill Gates, but has enough brain power, enough idea in him or her to innovate and successfully and really make a difference, an impactful difference for the end user in my field, which is like the patient and the physician. Mm-hmm. How do you work with that person? What is your strategy to help him or her become a significant success?
That's another great question, Jonas. I think what I aim to take my clients to is a quick prototype. And what I mean by that is, how quickly can we convert something that you have on your plate into something that you can then promote?
Tangible.
Exactly.
Make it tangible.
Exactly.
Okay, so
then we go back to what their assets are. Because again, we're talking about taking a simple idea, taking what you already have and finding new value in it to take it to a new market. So if you can, for instance, let's look at a couple of great examples. I worked with the Michigan State Police and the Office of Spanish-Speaking Affairs. They were trying to figure out a way that they could heal some of the rifts and wounds that had been caused between the state police and migrant farm workers in northern Michigan.
Okay.
These folks come from Texas, Mexico, seasonally to harvest crops, and these are jobs that are available to anybody, but no one takes them because they're dawn to dusk jobs. They're hard labor, they're sweat, tears, and families come up from these southern states and Mexico to work these fields.
Okay.
The Michigan State Police were having problems with coping with the culture, coping with the integration aspect, because they came and then they left. They come and then they go. And we came up with a strategy to design a training series that equips these officers, called Project Respeto, that equips officers with knowledge about the cultural differences and then engages them in a dialogue on an ongoing basis. This process took place because there was a pain, and it was identified as a pain even though no one really knew what to do with it. And in the process of sitting down and discussing and throwing out all these pains and problems on the table, we then look and say, hey, well, okay, we've got these commonalities. We're going to bring these common assets together. And these are things that we already had. They did it with no budget. No money was expended. They did it on their own time, volunteers, state police officers, people from the state of Michigan, Office of Spanish-Speaking Affairs, migrant worker representatives, just gathered together on a week-to-week basis to form this coalition that would then form a new technology, so to speak. Right. So taking that idea and taking it down to the individual level, if I'm working with someone who just has a very difficult time speaking in front of people, well, what's their fear? They're not really afraid of communicating their message. They're afraid of how it'll be received. They're afraid of not being prepared enough. How do you overcome a lack of preparation? Prepare. Give people the confidence that they need to adequately communicate. If they don't have those skills, find another way for them to communicate effectively. With a scientist, with someone who's in research and stuck in the lab most of their time. Find someone who can advocate for them. Find allies. Get people on their team that can then take their idea where they can't take it. Every idea needs a champion. Every idea needs a sponsor. Every idea needs someone who can pick it up and move it forward in the face of opposition.
And this is the kind of thing that you could help such an individual identify?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
this is a process that you go through?
Well, it's a stage-by-stage process. It really depends on the level that the person is when they approach me with their situation. Some people are much further along in the process, and they just need a little nudge. As a lot of technology comes out, it's not necessarily a huge leap, but it's a leap that we didn't expect, that catches us by surprise. Think the iPod. Music has always been something that we carry around with us, from Walkmans to other technologies. But the iPod put it in a way that we did not expect it to ever be in our hands, and now it's something we depend on, even though we never knew that we needed such technology.
Indeed, yes.
So it's just a matter of how far along an individual is in the process, and I work with them from wherever they are to take them to that point where they are confidently communicating what it is that they're trying to produce.
Well, our time has flown by, and plainly, this is a conversation that I would like to pick up again. I hope you'll join us in a future show. You have been listening to a conversation with Kevin A. Johnson. Kevin Johnson is a life coach and a creative catalyst for innovation of all kinds. Thank you so much for joining us. This is In Time TV. We are watching On the Edge. All of us are joining together on the Edge, Conversations in Medical Sciences Research. Remember that you can join our show by going to your email and on the internet and typing ask@intimetv.com. Kevin, you have a website. Please share that site with us.
You can contact me and check out my blog at kevinjohnson.org.
Okay, kevinjohnson.org. Please do check that out. That blog is a professional blog?
Professional, I put a little bit of everything there. I'm an aggregator of information.
All right,
so.
Very good, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Dr. Jonas Moses, On the Edge.